There it is.
There it is. Welcome to Kiki and Kivet's Survivor 41 Live podcast. My name's Brianna, and I'm here as always with my very handsome, sexy co host Alex. But today we have a
Hello.
guest, and I love her.
Hey.
Katie is joining us tonight, and she's a goddess. And that's why she's here. So, welcome, Katie.
Hi.
Hi. Katie says she just woke up from a nap, to which I respond, be a grown up. Some of us have jobs.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
Imagine
Alex
sleeping
never
alone.
sleeps. He basically stays up for 24 hours a day.
I wish that were the case. I wish that were the case.
Oh my God, I'm recording in speaker view, and now I can't change it. Oh, wait, maybe I can. Will that work if I change it now? I'll try.
I don't know.
I don't know
We'll
either.
figure it out.
No, see, it doesn't change on screen. Sorry, too late. Oh well. Each of you will have a close up when you speak. So, yeah, Survivor 41. What'd you guys think of last night's episode?
I thought that it was, honestly, for what it was, very good. I had low expectations from a double elimination, but they were way exceeded.
Oh, it did switch to gallery view. Cool. You had low expectations. Yeah, but I thought it was pretty good too. What about you, Katie?
Yeah, I thought it was super good. I thought everything was just going to be super rushed, but I was still fed as a viewer throughout the entirety of it.
I still can't figure
Exactly.
out how many episodes are in this season, and I keep trying to look it up and suss it out. Do you guys have any clue? Like, I even in Wikipedia, it says Survivor is anywhere between 13 and 16 episodes, something like that. It's
Yeah,
like,
allegedly
which
it's
one?
13,
Okay.
Yeah.
which would make sense.
Although we're on episode 9, and there's so many people left.
Yeah, they'll weed them out and then they'll just have a rushed finale like they always do.
Yeah, they'll eliminate 7 people in the last episode.
Yeah,
something
basically.
like that. Yeah.
The end of it
So,
is just
Katie,
ran like a minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
Oh, the end of this season is just run like a mini. Jeff Probst is like, let's just speed run this. Let's just do it.
But that is sometimes what it's like, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the 6-person finales are something.
Yeah.
Something.
You know, when I rewatched all the episodes of Survivor, starting from episode 1 during COVID, thinking, silly me, that it would be I would be like halfway through by the time the pandemic was over. I'd forgotten that in the beginning there were 2 people in tribal council, not 3. So it has changed. Like, so many things have changed,
Yeah.
but you never know. They could do that to us this time around. We don't know.
Let's
We
do
don't
a
know
final
anything.
4. Twist those
Yeah,
twists.
whoa, that would be weird. But then you could
Yeah.
easily have a tie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
no
why
way.
they changed it. I don't know. The thing is with Final 3 anyway, there's always some loser that you know is never going to win. It's never like kind of even, so it's sort of a throwaway.
Well, sometimes that throwaway could get votes too. You know.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe.
Sometimes people vote for the second place because they don't want the third place to win. You never know.
Accurate.
So, Katie, were you up for doing a recap of what happened in the episode?
Yeah. All right. So, episode opens up, and it's like they just got back from tribal. Everyone's pissed. Leon and Shan, like, it's basically like you have one huddle here, and then you have one huddle here, and then you kind of have like Erica, Xander, Evie just like kind of all just watching and being like, oh cool, chaos, oh cool, everyone's showing cracks right now. That's really fun. And so Deshaun is basically just like, why is everyone going on with what Shan wants? Like, that I'm here to play my game of Survivor, not, oh, I'm here to give Shan money. And then next day, then everyone's still like kind of chattering a little bit. And then Xander and Erica are on the beach, and then you have, I think it was like Ricard, Shan, Liana, and I'm forgetting the fourth one.
Deshaun and Danny, I think both of them.
Yeah, Danny was there too. Danny, who like never, he's like, I forget about him until he takes his shirt off. Then I remember. Never mind. That's a different story.
But then they're like,
I'm just
oh,
here for the hot guys with dreads.
that's fair. That's really valid. But then basically they're just like, oh, do we want to go and talk as a group? And then just to leave Xander and Erica just being like, did they just like forget that we were here? Like, did they, huh? And then Shan really wants Erica out, but like everyone's very much so like hung up on Xander and his idol. But she's like, I need Erica out. I have to have Erica out. And then Xander and Erica are having the exact same conversation just about both of them. So basically the camera is just going back and forth. And then we also see then Ricard talking about being hard of hearing. But then the I'm sure we will talk about this at some point, but the editors then simulate.
Oh my God. I have so much to say about this.
But then simulate like what it's like to be hard of hearing,
which was just so fucked up. They're all like, they made it look like an acid trip. They're like close up on the people's voices, like, wow. It's like, dude, seriously.
And then also before the challenge, we see Nasir and Heather go at it because Heather, I love Heather with my whole heart, my messy queen. She threw around Nasir's name, and then Nasir was like, girl, why'd you throw around my name? And she was like, oh, throwing it out and writing it out are very different. So you can't be mad because I didn't write it down. And Nasir's like, no, I'm still mad. Like, as most people would be if they heard that their name was out there. And then we go to the challenge, and they're separated into two groups. Erica and Xander opposites. My brain was like, okay, like if both of them win immunity right now, that's super great. That's just super funny. But then they have to balance on this very small beam, while also holding like two beams right behind them. And then in the yellow group, it came down to Ricard, Nasir, and Erica. Ricard drops, and then it's Nasir gets yelled at by Jeff because he's holding on to the end cap of it. And so then he just drops. And then on the blue group, it came down to Deshaun and Xander. And they were also like competing for reward, double immunity, very much so like a lot of things all packed into one challenge. And then Xander and Erica both win immunity. The entire time that Xander's up there, Liana is like, I hate his face. He has the worst face ever. Like, he is my mortal enemy. Like, I'm convinced Xander did something to this lady for her to just be like,
honestly, I have so many feelings about that. She's fucking mean girl. I don't like that bitch.
Super mean.
Right. I don't like his face. I'm like, he has an adorable face. Him and Deshaun, they both have adorable faces. Anyway, please continue.
And then they get back to camp. Xander, like, Deshaun is immediately like, okay, yeah, sure, like, I'll flip on Liana, like, okay. And Xander's trying to like feel everyone out to see if he should play his idol on Evie. And then him and Liana have this talk, and Liana's like, you could give your idol to me. It would make me feel
I know.
comfortable.
Yeah. Okay.
And then on the other camp, Nasir just like full sends it, walks up to Heather and is like, you're going. Sorry. That sucks. And
you know, someone forgot to explain the concepts of the game to Nasir.
And then Heather's like, oh, is there nothing that we can do? And Nasir's like, no, they're my two closest allies. So like, sorry. And then Ricard and Shan get into it because Ricard's like, Nasir should be taken out with his idol. Like, let's send him home with an idol in his pocket. And Shan's like, I don't trust Erica. Shan is very much so like anti-Erica this entire episode. And so then Ricard goes to Erica and Heather and is like, hey, they're voting for you, Heather, but here's this very like cracked out plan of like there's going to be an extra vote played, and then like we're going to make Nasir feel really good so he doesn't use his idol. And Heather's like, absolutely anything. And I also learned that Heather and Erica are a duo. I think I missed that.
Yeah, right.
It's not the duo I was expecting.
It's the duo of losers. Losers in advance.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
All the cool kids sit together at one table, and whoever's left over, they just have to unite. And I know because I was not at the cool table.
Oh, same. And then they go to tribal. The Heather, Nasir, Shan, Ricard, and Erica group goes first. And Heather is very much so like, I want an idol. Like, I hope an idol falls out of the sky. Then she like does this weird like cue an idol, and then the biggest cockroach that I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
In my life.
I was screaming.
Lands on poor Tiffany, who is literally just there to watch the chaos. And then it's just like weirdly silent for like a couple seconds afterward, and then everyone's pretty much just like, oh, Heather's the easy vote, so Heather's going. And then they vote. It's 3-3 split. And then they revote. Nasir goes home on the revote. And then the other group goes in. And it's very much so like, everyone's like, oh, I didn't expect Nasir to go. So like, I don't really feel comfortable anymore. And then on that one, it was 3-2, 3 for Evie to go, 2 for Liana. And very heartbreaking. Which someone voted Liana out. That would have been really fun and split.
I know.
Again.
More proof that life's unfair.
See,
Yeah.
you would
That's
think
it.
that with such a jam-packed episode and so much happening that you would just kind of like lose focus and not really know what's going on. But I thought that like for the fact that it was an hour-long episode with 2 eliminations, they were able to get so many just like funny moments into the episodes, like
They totally
one-liners, people playing stupid. Like I really, really enjoyed this.
Right. So
Like,
did
let's just
Yeah,
start-
very good.
Let's just start with the Walmart version of Sophie standing up at tribal council and asking everyone to huddle. They're just like, yeah, let's just split off at tribal. Let's just split off at the beach and pretend like they all don't know what's going on. How do you do
Right.
this? Like, how do you do this?
Because I feel
I
like
don't
we all just
know.
forgot that jury management is a thing.
It's not even
Yeah,
about jury
right?
management. Like you're basically like opening yourself up for hunting season when those 2 people run around to the others and be like, yo, these people just huddled. We should reconsider working with them. I don't know if they ever did anything of the sort because they never showed anything, but they really should have in the moment because duh.
You know what's shocking though is that Shan has still not gotten a vote. And like that bitch is pissing everyone off. Like how is Deshaun not voting for her? Like she really is walking
I mean,
all over
Deshaun
him.
couldn't have voted for her this time. So
Why? Well, no, of course, because they weren't in the same group. But like I
Yeah.
just mean, how is he not constantly gunning for her? I hope no one's gunning for Shan. They're just stupid. Or is it when you're in the game you can't always see it? Because Shan is like she needs to get voted out.
I think you don't always see like where people stand with like the front runner. Like for all we know, other
Yeah.
people, like other front runners in other seasons have gotten shot on like vindictively completely, and it was just left out. maybe
Right.
this time they're trying to highlight that even the best player can have like the biggest flaws in their game, especially because they're always trying to paint it as if Shan's like not listening, but you know, this time she gave in, she let Ricard blah, blah, yeah, she let Ricard steer the vote, and the round before
Sort of. I
she
mean,
just
she
like
placed her extra vote one on each person. I'm like, what?
makes
Did
sense, I
you
think.
notice that?
Yeah,
I was like, what? Okay, so basically she didn't vote at all. She just canceled her votes out. That's what she did. No, I mean, if
kind
it's you
of,
have an extra vote and you can
kind
only vote for one or the other, you cancel.
kind
It's like
of,
it's
but
not voting.
I think it was a defense move in the event that like something was used, probably. I'm not really sure. Like, there's a lot of theories about that move out there. I don't really think that it was like super stupid, but maybe if Nasir used the idol, then maybe it could have been viewed as stupid. I don't know. There's too many layers to that. There's too many
Um,
layers to that.
I didn't understand that. It seemed like political. I don't know.
I'm definitely nervous that Ricard isn't gonna cut Shan before Shan cuts him.
I know, because she will go for him. And the funny thing is, they're allies, but they do not get along at all.
In the slightest.
Right? I mean, she gets along with him less than she gets along with Deshaun.
I
She
think
doesn't get
that
along with
they're
anyone.
I think that they're both developing different enemies within the game to the point where it doesn't really make sense. Like, if Shan really wanted to take a shot at Ricard, she would have like ran to Nasir and told him about the plan, but she didn't. She voted him out. So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
I don't know either. And I don't think she has loyalty to anyone. I don't know what kind of pastor she is. I
But
just stand by that.
as far as that whole trap was concerned, with like all the shit that people have been doing, it's been hilarious. Like, you start off with Heather going like, Evie, what did I tell you to do at tribal? And Evie's like, oh, Nasir. And Nasir's like, ha. And then after the immunity results, Nasir's just like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry that you have to go home. And Heather's like, well, what if we did this? And he's like, no. And then you like cut to the scene later and they're like explaining the plan to Erica, and she's like, if you guys don't follow through with this, I will literally kill you. And it's just all these fucking moments of people just being nut jobs that made it so funny.
The whole thing was insane.
How
It
did
was
all of
really
this
fun.
happen within an hour?
It felt like a
I
fever
don't.
dream the entire time.
A fever dream is a really good explanation of it, actually. That's the
I will
perfect
literally kill
explanation.
you.
Right. I wish I could do the whole time. I'm like, I need to learn to do impressions of Evie because she sounds like a cartoon character all the time, right? She's like, if you're gonna conjure up a character who was a total nerd, that is exactly who you would conjure. I'm bummed that she got voted off because it kind of gives me less time to practice doing her voice, you know.
You can always rewatch the episodes.
Yeah.
It's true, but no one will care on the podcast. Then they'll be like, "Who?" Anyway, I do not hate Xander's face. I think he's adorable. And I think that Deshaun's kind of adorable too. I don't know what the issue is here.
I think that there's like Katie said, there's probably more to why Liana feels so strongly about Xander. And like, so many people are so pissed off about Liana like saying this stuff, but she's she's in a situation where they're starved and they're like, you know, they're like naturally more bitchy. She's young, like, you
How
know,
young?
she's 20 years old.
How
Um,
old is he then? Because he's the
he's
youngest.
also
He's
20,
like 19 or
but
something.
the thing is that, let's be real, people think this stuff in their head all the time. She just happened to say it out loud. What you like, you
Maybe
can't tell me
that's a
that
sign of how young she is.
you can't tell me that people look at some individuals and don't think the same stuff about someone sometimes. Like,
I
she could
think
have made it a
much
little
less
less
things.
obvious, but
Yeah.
it wasn't
I
really
mean, she
like,
said it on fucking camera.
yeah, so what?
I know. I wish she got voted out. That would have made me really happy. I
I feel
felt
like they
she
were
needed
really I feel
some
like they were really
karma.
building I feel like they were really building up her elimination and like I feel like they almost wanted people to think that she was like obviously going. Um but I think that as soon as Nasir was voted out, if Deshaun and Danny had any intention of even doing that, they were like, nope, we need her as a number now, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the whole Nasir and Heather thing? Like, and Shannon Ricard figuring it out. Did they make the right decision? Like, was Ricard right about, like why
Mm,
vote Heather or Heather off? She's not a threat.
Um, I mean, I think that Ricard was right because I think Shan is a bit too blinded by like her disdain for Erica. Like
I know Erica does not seem threatening, does she? Because to me,
not
it's like
really,
she's just following along with the crowd all the time.
but like I also get Shan's logic of like I can't touch this person, so I'm gonna touch the people around them.
as far as this move is concerned, I feel like it kind of makes sense if they're like looking to go head to head with Deshaun and Danny. Um, if you vote off Erica or Heather, in this case Heather, you leave Erica, who's obviously really salty, and Nasir, who's probably always going to be loyal to the men in the game. They're going to get picked off. By leaving Heather in the game, they leave Heather and Erica as a duo. Maybe they think that they should be indebted to them in some sort of
Mhm.
way. They can scoop them up
Oh.
for a number at the next tribal council, and they
Mhm.
took Nasir out, who's a number to the men. So I don't really think it was that stupid, to be honest.
I think it was a good idea. Although Heather personally she annoys the fuck out of me. The blue visor thing just
It
has
was a
to
black
end.
visor this time. I paid attention.
Don't tell me she had two visors because one
Oh,
is like denim color.
oh, she was
I
wearing a
swear
black
production
visor.
is trolling her with that shit. Like they're making her wear that
Oh,
to make
I
her look
felt
that
I
way.
felt really bad when Heather at Tribal Council was like having her moment and she's like, I just really want my kids to see this. And I'm thinking, oh, your kids are gonna see this and they're gonna see you get a really whacked edit for no reason.
Yeah.
I was just like,
And I'm thinking they're gonna see you in that visor and be
um,
like, ah,
I
we've
am
been
really
talking to her about
I
that
am
for
really
years.
shocked at how far Heather has made it in the game for the fact that like she's not really visible, or at least has not been until last episode.
Right.
Like
Mm.
she
I
apparently
can't stand her. I wanted her to go home just for that. And Nasir is really lovable, although really dumb
yeah,
about the game, man. You
Yeah.
don't walk up to someone and be like, "You're going home." Like that gives them time to formulate a strategy.
Right.
exactly. Maybe if he went
Like
up to them and said,
blindside.
Heather, you're going home, and pretended that he was following along with another plan. But
Because like I get why Nasir would go up to Heather if it was like final six, final five, when it was like there's not really a point to being like,
mhm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this whole entire elaborate strategy, but I'm like, y'all are at 10.
I
Like,
think
Right.
I think that he just got too comfortable in his position, and it happens all the time to people. Like the confessional, the episode before, he was like talking about how invincible he was in the game, and
Yeah.
yep.
Anyone who goes home with an idol in their pocket deserves it, though. That's my feeling. Like seriously.
I'm
Oh,
not going to
wait.
talk about my online game experience here. um,
Everything I say never applies to you. You're perfect.
I should not be an exception to this rule. Um,
At least you're not like James and go home twice with idols.
Yeah.
He's like, this will never happen to me again. Bam, happens to him twice. It's hard to know though, right?
yeah,
Like
about
using your
that.
advantages in the right way is part of the art.
Have you gone home with two?
Yes.
No, I was talking about James.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I've gotten
Yeah.
James before. But this isn't about me.
This isn't about us. So what about Evie and Heather? Parallels? Because it's like Ricard's saying, let's vote Nasir because he's a strategic threat versus Heather, who like has no idea what's going on. I mean, Evie too, like she is really smart, right? Like, I mean,
Hmm.
Harvard PhD, but she's not good at physical challenges, and
She
she
won
kind of
one.
that, yeah, okay. I really don't think she was going to be much of a threat, though. Did you?
Um,
I
I
felt like she just wasn't very good at it.
I I honestly think that Evie is a good player, but they were just like put in a weird situation at Merch where they just had a target that they could not really run away from. And, Evie technically was supposed to go when Sydney left. And I think that this kind of reputation just never really like surpassed her. She like they were meant to go for a while and people just took the shot. And I think with the way that the tribal was designed, realistically, the only way that Evie would have escaped this is if Xander helped them in some sort of way, whether it was with his vote or it was with his idol. He did neither. So womp womp.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do we think of Alex? And yeah, what happened with Alex and Evie? I just want to put it out there that I love Alex, and I think they all need. I mean, Xander. Sorry, Alexander.
I'm like,
What do they mean? So you're like, what the fuck? Well, you gotta
um,
admit, normally it's one name, Alexander, like yours actually is, right? So, what do we think of Xander and, I mean, the Xander Evie split? And Liana can fuck off with that. I hate his face. He's adorable.
um,
Cute little boy.
I think that Xander either felt comfortable that Danny and Deshaun were willing to flip on Liana, or he chose to just play a selfish game and conserve anything he has to protect himself, which, when you're in an underdog position, technically makes a lot of sense. That's kind of where you should go. If you're the last person standing from your group and you have advantages to save yourself, they can't do anything to you.
I
So
feel like he's not an underdog, though. I feel
he
like,
is.
but how? Just popularity wise? He's an underdog because they're scared of him because
He's
he's a
in
threat. It's a
he's
weird
in
situation.
he's in no alliances. He's literally no alliances.
Part of that's his fault, I think, right? Because he kind of floats from person to person. He doesn't, I think it's him that's stopping himself from having, like, he doesn't commit.
Um, hmm, that's I'm not really sure. I feel like people just kind of wrote Yase off and said, because on paper Xander seems to be reasonable and has a good head on his shoulders and kind of knows what's going on. It's just that he can't really execute it without support.
Because I think he went into the merge with someone like Liana, who was already against him in the pre merge. And then Liana was able to build all of these bonds with people and be like, here's what Xander has. And then, because like, if I was Xander, I would have been like, sorry, Abby, like, everyone's already looking at me. I need literally anything I can get.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I think also based on the fact that Evie in their final words said that they don't know who flipped, makes it sound like um Deshaun and Danny were really, really convincing of um them voting Liana. So
Yeah, I couldn't figure that out. I thought like Deshaun was flipping on Liana, but maybe he really wasn't. It was really hard to tell. He might be a little confused at this point.
I think it wasn't Stu getting voted out that probably caused issues. It
Yeah.
makes sense to me because they just lost a number. They can't afford alienating another.
Yeah. So I'm really curious about this. Why is Danny escaping any focus? Because that dude is a total physical threat. He and Deshaun haven't separated. Like, no, but no one's trying to vote Danny off. Why? Is it because he's hot and he has dreads?
Physical
If I was a
threats.
man, people would hate me. I'm like, I totally objectify all the guys on the show.
Physical threats, in my opinion, are only a target if their social game is shit, and it just means that Danny is probably like people trust Danny, people see Danny as valuable, which is why I
Great
don't
social
think,
game.
yeah. I'm a firm believer of if you're a physical threat and get targeted for it, you just did not secure your allies well enough. Because there's been several physical threats that were known physical threats that still made it really far in the game. So I think that Danny's just doing well, like as a person, as a player, to make sure that nobody like votes him. We just don't see enough of it because he's not
Yeah, we
getting much of an
don't.
edit.
Well, and we also don't see all the conversation because it has to, like, no one's even said his name one time. So I don't understand that. Like, I would be saying his name and Nasir. I think Nasir was a good, I'm sad he's going, but like, he was a threat. And I
Mhm.
think Danny's a threat. And I think we're going to see Danny becoming a threat. That's my guess.
Because I think
Sean
there's
is definitely one.
Yeah.
What were you
I
saying?
think there's
Sorry.
people in front of Danny, like Liana, Shan, Xander. So if I were Danny, I would be like, oh, I'm just chilling because everyone's looking at them. Basically, what I
That's
think
what he's
Danny's doing
doing.
is just like hiding behind the meat shield strat, which is like, he's doing it great.
Mhm. And it's like
Well
he
said.
he doesn't even stand out as like a competitor in the sense that like he's won any challenges or whatever. Like no one can run around and be like he's an immunity threat because he hasn't won anything yet. So I think he's
I
good at
was shocked he
managing his
didn't do
threat
better
level.
in this immunity challenge. I was surprised at all the people who didn't do well and the people who did. Like Shan should have been able to do better than she did. She basically gave up early, was my feeling.
Well, it sounded like it was really painful, and some people have a higher pain tolerance than others do. So,
Yeah.
you know, we've seen people flop that last challenge within literal seconds.
Yeah.
It's
And
always
what
like,
about Erica jumping down? I was confused by that. So she was supposed to stay up to outlast the guys to win stew. Is that what it
oh,
was?
I would have
I
jumped.
didn't even get that
Well,
rule
I
till
would
the
have
I would have. I would
thrown
have.
myself on the ground.
I would have jumped off too if I just heard the entire group cheering against me. I would have been like, "Fuck your stew." Like I think she heard that people wanted Nasir to win, and she
Well, they
just
were
said,
kind of lame the way they yell some people's names and
"Yeah,
not
Liana, like
others.
go." Liana being like, "Go, Danny." No, go Deshaun, and I didn't remember who was up there, and Shan being like, "Go Nasir." Like I would just be like, "Bye."
Bye. Right.
Because Erica was grouped with like a bunch of people who, like, back to when her and Xander were sitting on the beach, all these people just went and had a conversation without her. She owes them nothing. Like, she secured her bag and then she left. And I commend her for that.
I feel like she's not a very likable person, and part of it is about that headband with the big beads on it. Just saying. That's not the kind of shit you bring to the beach in the rain.
Let's go to the
That's why
beach.
her and
Beach.
Heather need to go. Fashion police. It's a violation. I
I
think
don't really
fashion should
mind.
count.
I don't really mind.
You're much nicer than me. I'm like the bitchiest one on this podcast. I'm like, take your visor and your headband and go kick rocks. I don't like it. Okay, so do we have any projections about who's going to win and have we changed at all? Like, Shan's been on our radar this whole time. Who's going to sneak up from behind, do you think? Because, like, maybe Danny's going to come from behind and just be like, da-na-na-na-na, like, just jump out. No.
I'm not sure I
Okay.
see it. Um, I think we're inching. I know people don't want to believe it, but I think one of Shan or Ricard are winning. I just, I
Then
think
I hope
even
it's
though
Ricard.
I think even though there's negativity surrounding them, like you
Yeah.
still just see them be such a force. They're not really targets. People get annoyed with them, but they still keep getting their way. Ricard just took out a huge threat, just like boom. I think they're in the long run for this. Like I don't know. I would be really shocked if like Heather and Erica said, "Okay, thanks for saving us. Bye." Next episode. It could happen, but I don't know if it really makes sense for them.
Mary said she expected Shan and Nasir to do better at the immunity challenge. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Anyway, so I mean, what about Deshaun now, Alex?
I'm like 50-50 on him. I feel like most of his edit is complaining, but then not actually doing anything about it.
He does a lot of complaining about Shan and then not doing anything about it.
Exactly. He
Right.
could have just voted out Liana.
Right. What do you think, Katie? Who do you
He-
think is a prospective winner at this point?
I would say, because I kind of want Heather to win just because it would be funny. No other reason. But I definitely think we're seeing the beginnings of a Ricard Shan showdown, whether that's at Final Tribal, whether that they hit.
I hope it's soon.
Because I want Ricard to cut her. Because I think if
Same.
he has a solid resume at the end.
Big time.
But
No, good point.
I think for him, it's just a matter of timing. Because like right now, she's a number for him, but down the line, she's going to be an opposing number.
She might already be. That's the thing. She's duplicitous. She's a liar. Like she's a liar. I just am so offended that someone who considers themselves a clergy member, like, because I don't believe that this is just the game and that she's something special outside the game. No, she's patronizing, condescending. She thinks she's better than everyone else. She's happy to be deviant. Like, I don't buy any of that bullshit. I just don't.
But
It's okay if
I
you
think
don't agree, Alex. It's okay.
No, it's just I don't
Shaking his
know.
head like that poor
It's a-
stupid
it's a
woman.
dirty
Can't believe she
game.
said that.
yeah,
It's a dirty game. I'm never gonna blame
Yeah.
someone on
Yeah.
Survivor for playing a dirty game. I might be in a minority here, but a lot of people bitch about things when they probably wouldn't. Like, I'm not addressing you specifically, but just from what I've seen, I think a lot of people bitch about things on Survivor that they would probably do themselves, if not worse. And
In this case, definitely not me, because I'm like, that's the kind of thing I really couldn't do. But also so
Right.
patronizing, right? You can be subversive, but like, I hate the way she talks to people, and I hate the way she talks to Deshaun. She really like condescending in a way that offends the shit. Dude's a doctor, okay? Like, don't talk down to him like he's your nephew or something. And he's not that much younger than you. Like, she just has no business. It bothers me. I just don't. If there's any goodness in the universe, she's not going to win. But okay. That's what it is. Anyone else do you think could come from behind? Like, do you actually think Heather has a chance, Katie?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not. It would just be very funny if she sat at the end and everyone was like, what did you do?
That shit's happened before.
It would be very Chris Underwood.
Yep.
And I don't know if they really want a Chris Underwood winner again. How are they going to show Heather for like? How are they not going to show Heather at all for like the first half of the game and then decide, oh yeah, she's our winner, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
I mean, Xander could win.
He could, but I see Xander getting like a really dramatic build-up and being like someone that makes it to finale, but it's like executed then. He's getting like the classic like rootable person edit that's just probably realistically not standing a chance.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm
Like
wrong.
Nasir.
Maybe he will win. I don't know.
I
but
want him. I kind of want him to just 'cause I feel like he's also being treated. But see, people with a sense of justice should never play Survivor. Because I'm like, leave him alone. Stop being so mean to him. I feel the same way about Deshaun. Like, I want all the people who aren't mean to win, but that's stupid. So, who's MVP of the episode? Because I'm going with Ricard on this one.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We all agree.
It's not
He
really
turned it around.
he's like the only person that really like said I want to do this and did it. Boom. He he convinced Chan that his move was her move, and sucks for Nasir, but
Yeah, no, I think that was a good move. Heather would be a dumb move. Erica would be a dumb move. That's my feeling.
yeah, I mean Erica
And
was safe anyway.
Erica's I mean, she's wishy-washy. She has no will of her own. She has no ideas of her own. She got that little, I'm an immigrant. I came from, nothing. I'm going to show them. But like, she has shown us nothing except she can stand on a plank for a long time.
Good for her. Maybe she will have a surprise win for all we know.
That would piss me off. I just don't want to look at her for that many episodes. So who made, I guess, like, is there any argument that Nasir was the biggest flop of the episode? You really couldn't read the room.
I'm not really sure if like getting
Not
outplayed
paying
by people you
attention to
trust
comments.
is like the LVP. I think that Liana was really getting shat on all around. Like the edit was so negative on Liana, like all around, that it's just like I think from what I've seen, so many people were actually rooting for Liana to go that it really means a lot. Like she was not displayed in a good light, and
Yeah. I know, I wish she had gone home. Mary agrees with me that Shan's the gangster pastor.
well, she's been saying it since the start.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The mafia pasta.
Mafia pastor. That's good. I like it. Cool. Well, any last thoughts about this episode?
They need to do more of these episodes where they like fill the void of the strategy with like funny moments. Like,
Yeah.
I need Heather and Nasir interactions. I need Erica telling people that she's going to kill them if they don't do what she says. I need the cockroach moment at tribal council.
That was fucking brilliant.
I need things to break the tension, because like so much strategy is just gonna get you watching like, ugh. This was like
do you have cockroaches like that in Germany?
I don't think so. No way.
I hope
Never
not,
seen
for
one
your
like
sake.
that.
I've only seen one of those in New York once, and Mary can confirm for sure. But it's like one of those things flew into my hair once, and that's why I don't live in New York anymore, among other reasons. Just saying. But that was funny. Also, Tiffany deserves a lot of giant flying cockroaches, in my opinion. That's her story.
She didn't give a fuck.
No. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Katie.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you for having me.
You are
You're very
most
welcome.
Yeah. And thanks for showing up, Alex. And thanks, Mary, for being
Always.
our faithful audience member who comments, our only commenter. I have to have my
Thank
reading
you, everyone
glasses on
else,
to
for
see what she says.
watching.
She can confirm.
And
Poor
everyone who's
Nasir.
going to watch it back.
Yeah, all of you too. Thanks so much. And check out our other podcasts, y'all. Have a good night, day, morning, whenever you're watching this. Bye bye.
Good night.
Night.